And now for something completely different.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Cinematic Relief. I am Thunder.
And I'm Lightning.
I
I was
forgot.
confident in my name. I just wanted to.
Well, I wanted to say I'm Anthony because it's my real name, but I was like, oh wait, no, that's not how I say it. The Mandalorian season 2 is over, and we watched it, and I liked it.
Oh yeah, that was excellent.
It had okay. So before we start talking about this season, can we talk about like all the weird controversy that happened before the season that like played no bearing on the season as a whole?
It had no. So what we're talking about is Pedro Pascal apparently had a I don't know what you want to call it, a rough patch in filming for
Like
this.
a little disagreement with production.
And from our understanding, he walked off production for a little bit, or something to that effect. And we were concerned it was gonna be apparent in the
I
season.
straight up saw a tweet from someone working on the show who was like, "If the Mandalorian isn't in episodes 4 through 8, don't be surprised."
That's insane. I'm sure that was I'm sure something had just happened and they went to Twitter or Facebook.
No, it sounds like something definitely did happen, but it was blown like
that's
way
what I'm
too
saying.
far out of proportion. Because now I don't know if you saw. I was going to talk about it. I still will. I was going to talk about it on the normal podcast, but Pedro Pascal is like completely like, I didn't do that. I don't care about the mask or not.
Yeah. Also, it came off twice this season.
Yeah. So I don't know. It just I feel like it's the same. It's the same thing that's going to happen with the Spider-Man movie, for better or for worse. We're finally going to sit down to watch it, and we're going to be like, none of that shit happened that you said would happen.
Yeah.
That was good, but like none of that shit happened.
Some of it definitely hit the wall and didn't stick. Some of it is sticking for that movie.
Yeah.
Like I am willing to put money down that Tobey Maguire is going to be up in that movie, cuz I've heard too much in too much detail about him being in that film.
Yeah.
So I will be utterly surprised if he isn't. At that point, I will lose. I have a shred of credibility.
Yeah.
In some of the sites
shreddability, one would say.
A shreddability of some of the sites I follow.
Yeah.
And if he's just not in this movie, I think all bets are off. I don't believe a single thing I hear about a movie until it comes out.
I mean, you can say comicbook.com. I don't think we're.
It is comicbook.com. There's a few other ones too. I can't think of them off the top of my head.
No, but comicbook.com is Nerdist too. Yeah, comicbook.com is the biggest perpetrator of like a fraction of news. We gotta tell them.
Yeah,
a whole article just because the Pink Power Ranger said something about the Pink Power Ranger, and it's like, cool. Are they making a new? No, oh, okay. You just wanted to check in on her. And
yeah. Yeah. But this movie's kind of the final straw for me, cuz I feel like things are getting the last few years, I guess 2020 excluded, cuz like nothing. No, I mean they boasted about these Marvel movies that aren't yet out yet, but
yeah.
It's just been getting as cool as studios are getting with swapping characters and allowing this to happen in this. The nonsense is also getting blown out of proportion with like, did you know? Oh, I just saw a funny one. Oh, it was like, did you know Hayden Christensen is reprising his role?
I told you this.
Yeah, you told me that. Yeah. Reprising his role of Darth Vader in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
It's like...
No, it was a tweet I saw, and it was perfectly targeted to make me laugh.
Yeah, you said that. That's right.
Like, I was just like, yes, I did hear... Oh.
And it's just, they're getting wild like that. But you know what? None of that has to do with Season 2, Episode 1 of The Mandalorian. So we're going to probably briefly talk about each episode.
Yeah.
I have a feeling there's probably 1 or 2 episodes that are going to get quite a bit of talking.
Yeah. So episode 1 is called The Marshal, and it was the episode with Timothy Oliphant, the guy who like had Boba Fett's armor.
Yeah, that was interesting.
It was a really okay. First of all, maybe I'm jumping the gun a little. Can I just say this? I liked season 2 way more than I liked season 1.
Oh yeah,
I thought it was way better.
Absolutely.
Not saying season 1 was bad. Season 1 was great, but this one really drove home my love for this character and for this TV show.
I think part of that, and they did it again, but it was a bit more interesting. Season 1, he meets the child.
Yeah.
The whole season is essentially just me and this child got to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And we gotta, I gotta figure out what to do with him. And that took the whole season.
Yeah.
Took the whole season. This season was about I gotta get him to a Jedi.
Yeah.
And it took the whole season, but I felt like the journey was a bit more rich with story.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely more than I thought it would, because season one was sort of like a long movie, and it really felt like this season was different episodes.
Yeah.
Like we like every episode had its own little story, not to jump the gun, but like we had a whole episode about what Ahsoka's doing. We had a whole episode about what Fett is doing. There was the episode with the frog lady. It really felt like, what's the Mandalorian gonna get up to this week? And that was cool. I liked that. And almost every single individual one of those side quests, if you will, was about an already existing Star Wars character, which is really cool. I was telling you this the other day. I think with this show and the new Boba Fett show and all the other shows, and like Pedro Pascal said it himself, like there's no reason that the Mandalorian won't show up on those shows.
Oh yeah.
I feel like we're gonna reach like Arrowverse levels of like, what show are we watching? Because all these characters, like, it's like I was telling you, it's the Flash, but he's fighting a Arrow villain, but it's an episode of Supergirl, and it's like, it's all the same world.
No, that's super exciting. Like you, because you and I have talked at length about this already. We're essentially just reiterating ourselves on a microphone, but the timeline is the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
Got to make sure it falls in the timeline, and it seems like it could. I don't know if the Lando series is going to be with Donald Glover or with
They're making a Lando series?
Yeah, Lando.
Why?
I'm pretty sure it's a series. I don't think it's a movie. But yeah, a show called Lando is coming out. But I don't know if it's with I do this all the time. He's not Miley Cyrus's dad. Billy D. Williams.
Billy D. Williams is not Miley Cyrus's dad. No.
Billy Ray Jepsen. No, that's also not Miley Cyrus.
Well, if her name is Miley Cyrus.
No, what's his name?
Billy Ray Cyrus.
Billy Ray Cyrus. That's his name. Sorry.
What the fuck?
I know. Well, she has 2 names. He's also not Billy Ray Montana either.
Oh, she does have. I was like, she does have 2 names. She does have 2 names.
Sorry. I don't know if it's going to be with him and Donald Glover.
I'm sure. Or neither.
Both
of them could be busy or too old.
I don't know if both can be too old.
No. Yeah, I meant, yeah. I did not know that. I did not know that character was getting his own show. I don't know how I feel about that.
But what I'm saying is to have that Arrowverse style universe, timelines have to mesh up. But we just have so much to talk about with the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
We were going to try to set this up an episode by episode basis. It might get a bit off track.
Well, the first one, I feel like it was a really good start to a season. It sort of felt, while I was watching it, like, what's the good word for it? Like, it felt like episode 1 was like filler almost, but then you get to episode 2 and 3 and 4, and you realize that this season's like pretty much almost set up differently.
Yeah.
Because season 1 was about one character, and there was like 2 or 3 side characters that we saw a little bit of. But this one was like so rich with like what's this character up to? What are we doing now? What's happening in this episode?
Until the episode with Ahsoka, not to jump too far ahead,
Yeah.
I was getting worried it was a little too side questy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he was definitely doing that thing that I think no show does is more guilty of than Pokemon, where they're like, there's our goal right over there. We're going to do side missions for 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Our goal is still equally as far away from us as it was 6 episodes ago.
Right.
And it was starting to feel like that. Like, they would do the episode, and then at the end of the episode, Mandalorian would, like, basically look at the camera and be like, gotta get this kid to a Jedi, whatever that is. And then the episode would end.
Right. It was cool we finally got Boba Fett up in there.
Yeah, I was going to... That's the episode that had the Boba Fett cliffhanger, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was episode 1 or not.
Not to say this season wouldn't have done well without them, but the legacy characters were very respectfully put in there.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
No, it definitely... Now that season 2 is over, it really feels like that's what was missing from season 1.
Yeah.
Like, season 1 was good, and it stood on its own 2 legs, but I feel like Star Wars is, like, series number 1 for, like, remember this character?
Yeah.
And the fact that Mandalorian wasn't doing that at first was a breath of fresh air to some degree, especially because Mandalorian came out around the time that Rise of Skywalker was just about to come out, and Rise of Skywalker was like the movie where it got a little too much.
If they were too heavy on it season 1, I think people would have had an issue with it.
Yeah.
But I think it was very well spread out. There was Boba Fett, Ahsoka, and spoiler alert for the last episode.
Well, and Bo-Katan.
Right, Bo-Katan and Luke Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
So they were placed out far enough from each other, I think.
Yeah, and there wasn't too much of
them,
you know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Episode 2, or rather episode 10, is the one that everyone had a panic attack about because Baby Yoda wouldn't stop eating frog eggs.
Oh, yeah. That episode was when I was like, okay, don't do another episode
right, yeah,
like
that
this, though.
episode 1 at first felt like filler. Episode 2 was filler.
Yeah.
Straight up. That was entertaining episode, definitely the least entertaining out of the 8.
Yep.
For sure.
Agreed.
You know, it had its moments for sure, but it one episode is meant to stand out as the worst one, you know?
Yep.
Episode 11 was the Heiress. This is the one with Bo-Katan and the other Mandalorians, who, by the way, Duder never came back.
I know.
For
I know.
episode 16.
Pauline pointed that out, and I was like, oh, yeah, I wonder if that's a setup for something.
Maybe.
Like, that was intentional. Or
I honestly, because I didn't think about it until it was well and done, I was like, oh, yeah, there was 3 people, and that was only 2. But it might have just been as simple as, like, we don't have, like, a plan for an 8th character in this mission.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Or 7th, or however many it is.
Because that was an OP crew to start with.
Yeah.
Yeah. It might have just been too overpowering to have a 4th, 5th Mandalorian.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but that episode...
That episode was good. Baby Yoda Grogu was eaten.
Yes.
Which was horrifying.
Directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, that episode was. And she actually made a little... I didn't recognize this because I've never seen it. But she apparently made a visual reference to... oh, God, I want to get my facts right. I believe she made a visual reference to Apollo 11, which is a Ron Howard film.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, them falling onto the Frog Lady's planet at the beginning of the episode mirrored Apollo 11.
Yes.
If that's what the movie's called. Yeah.
I think so. That's what the thing was called, so I assume that's what the movie was
called.
That's cool. I'm down for that.
Also, we got that bit of lore that you and I were talking about. I think like an episode before it, where it was like, what's the deal with Mandalorians and their helmets, and like it's different creeds.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that on another cinematic relief.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I think we were on mic for that though, where I was like, they do their own thing. They've got like different creeds and stuff, but one of
Right.
them rules Mandalore, and it's not his.
Right.
Because some of them are just okay with taking the helmet off. And then the next episode, they were like, take their helmet off, and he's like, oh, what? And then they were like, well, let's. For those of you who didn't watch the TV shows, here's what the deal is.
Yeah, I actually didn't realize, because I haven't seen all of it, but I feel like I wouldn't have realized it even if I did. I didn't realize that Bo-Katan was straight up on Clone Wars, which is cool, but also it's an interesting choice to be like, the character from the Clone Wars is going to be on this season, and who's on the episode a couple episodes before her? That's right, someone else from the Clone Wars.
This show, I'm trying to think of a reference in the first season. The good folks at Mandalorian, the Disney Plus TV show,
Yeah.
are really like, we'll explain to you who this person is, but if your friend is freaking out next to you, don't be surprised.
Yeah.
There's other things from Star Wars you haven't seen yet.
And I feel like the show does a better job of being more subtle with that shit than the movies was. Like,
with Darth Maul still being alive in Solo, and everybody's like, shouldn't he be dead?
I don't even mean that. I just mean, like, I guess what I'm specifically referring to is Lando in Rise of Skywalker, where there's a moment in that movie where, like, all of a sudden now we're talking about Lando and we're with Lando, and it's like, if you didn't see the originals, get absolutely fucked. And I feel like in this one, in The Mandalorian, it really let us off loose. Like, I didn't know who Bo-Katan was, and I still had a great time watching the episode, and I found her character very interesting. And now, being someone who hasn't finished Clone Wars, now that I know there's more Bo-Katan content out there, I might go seek it out, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel like, why was Lando in Rise of Skywalker? I feel like we don't... I feel like we're all just okay with it, but there's really no reason for it. Like, why was he on Tatooine or wherever the fuck they were? Why was he... it was just weird. It was just fan service,
I've still only seen it once.
I watched it twice. I watched it when it came on Disney Plus.
I only saw it once.
That's rare for you.
It's the only Star Wars movie I've only seen once. It's the only piece of Star Wars content besides I'm still finishing up Rebels that I've only taken in once.
Yeah.
And I guess The Resistance, but I'm obviously going to wait till Rebels.
Yeah,
to watch that.
That's a sequel, right, to Rebels? It's like the next,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. It's because I have mixed emotions about some things that happen in there. In Star Wars is number one prime suspect of will fill in the gaps later. Here's the information, we'll fill it in later for you. And they haven't flat out said this yet, but I think The Mandalorian is starting to sow those seams of they're collecting. Literally, I called this out on something we were making.
Yeah.
They're basically saying we're taking his midichlorians and resurrecting the Emperor without flat out saying it yet.
Yeah. That if that weird siphoning Baby Yoda plotline and cloning people plotline sort of just goes away, that's because the only reason it was there is because that is their explanation for how they like zombie cloned the Emperor or whatever the fuck.
Right.
Because it feel like, just to jump ahead to the last episode for a moment, didn't it feel kind of weird that he was, when everything was said and done, I know he didn't go quietly, but Moff Gideon was basically just like, nah, fuck it, I already got his blood, I don't need him.
Well, he was pulling a rope-a-dope. He was he was...
Right, but I feel like he was also telling the truth, because, like, I've seen Rise of Skywalker, and the Emperor does, in fact, come back. So I feel like he did
do what he needed to do.
In fact, get enough of Grogu's blood to do that, and we're never going to hear about that again. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we will. But it feels like all the everything that Moff Gideon was doing that we had a question about, the cloning, the Dark Troopers, whatever it is, it all took place within this season, and we're going to do and move on to something else.
Yeah,
probably
move on to
not
somebody
Baby Yoda
else.
related next season.
That's something to talk about too. Once we're at the end of this podcast. But
so let's move on then. Let's talk about the Siege, which was the one where him and Blue Guy and woman Gardoon and Carl Weathers went on to a place.
That was the second most forgettable episode.
That was the episode where they found out about all that stuff we were just talking about, actually, about the midichlorians and the cloning.
You're right.
And
You're right. That is. Beyond that, though, I can't remember another significant thing.
Cookies.
Episode.
Baby Yoda cookies.
Baby Yoda cookies was
Teacher C-3PO.
adorable. Also, not Baby Yoda.
No.
We gotta stop using that term.
Okay. Okay. I don't think Mickey's gonna come and get us on our podcast. That's gonna have 6 views. But I also, that big pause was me trying to remember things from that episode. I also don't remember. I remember there was a thing that they escaped on, and it was completely projected. Like they showed the thing at the beginning. I was like, "There's their escape vessel," and then it was
right.
I feel like
not a lot happened on that one.
I feel like that episode just sort of only happened so we could get that bit about cloning and midichlorians, because the tiny Yoda child isn't even in the episode that much.
They literally brought him to school.
Yeah, they literally drop him off at daycare, go fucking do the rest of the episode. The 5th episode is the Jedi, which is the one about Ahsoka, which I thought was just this episode was the most like a video game that there has been so far. He literally he showed up to a town he's never been before. It was almost like a D&D quest. He shows up to a town, they won't let him in or whatever the hell, and then he has to go find a person, but the person in the town is like, go kill this person, but he's like, I'm not going to kill you, I'm going to help you kill this person, and it feels like that could have gone either way, depending on what the DM wrote.
Right.
And then at the end of the quest, he fights a person, and then he gets a rare artifact. It was such a good episode, and on top of that, we got the most backstory that we've gotten so far about not only Ahsoka but about
name drop for the character. It's Grogu.
Yeah.
My mom, as of today, has found her nickname for him because I was like, he's not Baby Yoda anymore. He never was, but it was acceptable till he had a name.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, I hate his name. And then she was like, I'll call him Goo. And then I was like, oh, you could call him Goo Goo. And so now he's Goo Goo.
Good. So close. Just say the.
I know.
So does that episode? I know that people online are joking about it, but does that episode confirm that Grogu was, should have been part of the group of children that Anakin killed in Empire?
He was.
Of the Sith,
he was at
Return of the Sith, Revenge of the Sith, Revenge of the Sith.
I'm pretty sure she says directly that he was a part of, he was at the Jedi Temple.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean the timeline fits. He should have been killed. In the Purge.
Yeah.
Oh,
is that what it's called in universe?
Hold on. They do call it something in the show has been referring to it as something to that effect.
They don't just refer to it as Order 66?
No,
because why would they? Because that's that's a Sith thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's just the code that was implanted in them.
Right.
In the clones. No, I think it was called the Purge. I could be wrong.
Okay. I believe you.
Well, don't, because I'm not entirely confident. But it is called something. The erasing of the Jedis are called something in the universe. I'm pretty sure it's called the Purge. But he should have been a part of that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Which tells us somebody saved him, and that would be cool if they threw that in a TV show.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be interesting, because, who would have... What if Yoda saved him? That'd be cool, right?
Yeah.
It's just because we see that whole movie play out, right? And it would be interesting to know who saved him and why. You know, like
right.
Who
and why?
Who would have had the foresight in that situation, the Anakin secretly went evil situation, to save one of the Padawans and have it be the one that is the same species as Yoda.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's very interesting. I also like, and they don't explain it because we're not idiots, but her lightsabers are white.
Yeah.
And that is obviously because she gave up learning Jedi stuff, being a Jedi technically. And
yeah, because
the color is
colors are symbolic of different things.
Yeah, the color's like important. Like that's why Mace Windu's is purple and no one else's is, and stuff like that. And she, if I remember correctly, had a green one and a yellow one. Is that correct?
I want to say green and blue.
Okay. I feel like she has a yellow one.
It's been a while since I've seen it.
I feel like she has a yellow one at some point.
Okay.
But I could be wrong. Like I said, I haven't seen all of Clone Wars, but
yeah, now they're white.
Which you always assume that could happen, but we've never seen it. It was cool to see because it one, it made total sense, and two, it was just a rare sight. I've never seen a white lightsaber before, and it's not even like those technically aren't like white lightsabers. They're technically like colorless white saber. That's just they took the color out.
White sabers.
White sabers. Yes. And this could still happen because the lightsaber still exists, but I really wanted Ahsoka versus the Darksaber because I feel like that would have looked really cool and aesthetic because his lightsaber's black and hers
maybe
are
on
white.
her show.
Maybe, yeah. No, I think that'd be really cool. What's next? Oh, the big one, the one with Boba Fett, the one where he gets taken. That's called the Tragedy. That's the one that's next. So the previously on confirms what everyone thought, which is those feet from season 1 were in fact Boba Fett.
Yeah.
They made like a weird noise, and everyone was like, "Listen to the noise! It's in Empire," and we were all just like, "Sure it is." But it totally was, and we were all right. Which is cool. I like their dynamic. I like the whole I like Ming-Na Wen, the woman who plays Fennec. She's the voice of Mulan. And I really like her. She's got a big part in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She's a great actress, and I like that her character is back, and I like her character's new role as sort of like Boba Fett's one and only henchman, sidekick, bodyguard type thing.
Also, she's cyborg, which they briefly brushed over.
Yeah, in probably the worst CGI in the whole season.
He gets his armor back for the most part. There's definitely some leg stuff he's missing.
Well, yeah, see, I was talking to you about this. I thought that there was a lot missing. Turns out what I was seeing is that he used to wear white.
Yeah, he had
now
a
he
white
wears
undershirt.
And now he wears black, so it looked way less like filled.
It's not an undershirt.
No.
I said he wore a white. He wore a white tank top and shorts. No,
it's just a dude in a towel with a Boba Fett helmet on.
That's what he is now. That's what he is now. I don't know what he's wearing, but it's like a dress type of thing.
He's wearing fucking whatever he wants, man.
Robes.
What I don't understand is, I guess this is the next episode, but he repainted the armor, but he did it now. Like the armor was already shitty in Empire Strikes Back.
And I remember when it got painted, it looked weird to me. And I was like, why does it still look odd? I know it looked old and worn out in the last episode, but now we fixed it and it still looks weird.
I had this.
We've never seen it painted.
I had the same exact reaction. I was like, it's Boba Fett. Oh, he fixed it. He painted it. And then I was like, oh, he painted it real good. No one's ever painted it like this. Why, this is nothing to do with the Mandalorian, I suppose, just for me. Why is his armor that color in the first place? I sort of forget, because he just has normal issue Jango Fett Clone Wars armor, right? But one that he recolored.
I don't know much about that. I'm sure it signifies something, but
Because he's had the armor since he was a kid, or else that bullet hole wouldn't be there.
well,
The bullet dent.
do you mean it's the same armor from the original trilogy? Is that what you're saying? Or?
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Of
Yeah.
course. That actually, there's a deleted scene from I think it was either Rebels or Clone Wars where they show how it.
Yeah,
the
that's what I
helmet
was
gets
just
the
referring
dent.
to. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If he got new armor, new greener armor, that dent wouldn't be there, because this is the same armor that he like fled the Jedi Order with after his father was killed.
Yeah.
This is his father's armor.
Yeah.
As he says.
Yeah.
But his father's armor was blue and gray. Blue and silver.
Well, yeah. I think his father's armor was. It had a little bit of blue, and it was just the natural Beskar
right.
color, and he chose green. I don't know why.
So
Somebody probably does.
So there's no like significance to it. It's just like he changed the
there
color
could
of it
be.
one day.
I just don't know.
Yeah. Maybe he I mean, he's clearly wearing Mandalorian armor, but like maybe he wanted to like definitely not look like a stormtrooper or something like that.
Maybe.
Like let me make it green and yellow and red just so everyone knows that I'm not associated with whatever they're doing with the Mandalorian armor.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure somebody knows. There's definitely probably books on it,
Yeah.
but I don't know why.
But no, I think I personally, and I think you agree with me, I think episode 6 was the best one of the season. It was the most action-packed for sure.
Yeah, it I thought it was gonna hands down be my favorite, and now I'm
Oh, your team
conflicted. No,
yeah.
I'm conflicted.
Okay.
is what I am.
There was just so much like, okay, for
was
years,
action-packed.
for literally like 40 or 50 years, everyone, including you, has been like, isn't Boba Fett cool? And I'm just sitting here like, fuck no, he's not cool. He was in one scene ever, and he sucks, and he doesn't do shit. And he finally did something cool. And there wasn't like, I feel like episode 6 had like an appropriate amount of Boba Fett being cool. Like it had a lot of it because it was the first episode with him in it. Which is crazy to think that he was only in 3 episodes. It feels like he was hanging out the whole season. But I feel like that we had the scene where he beat up the dudes with the big stick, and then he like goes off camera, he gets the armor, he uses the armor in all the cool bounty hunter ways that you'd hope he would. But I feel like that was their opportunity to be like, and then he does something else, and I'm like, okay, move on with it. But I feel like it was just enough of Boba Fett. Like other characters had their moments to shine in the episode. And I will say this, I brought this up to you before, I think it was really cool that like, as far as the protagonists of Star Wars go, right? Because that's what Boba Fett is now. If he wasn't one before, he is one now. As far as the main protagonists go, there's a moment in the Star Wars timeline where there's like an oh shit moment where they're like, fuck, the Empire is back. Like, officially, they're back, and we have to tell someone to do something about it. And the character that got that was Boba Fett, who was a legacy character. It happens in that episode. He sees the ship, and he's like, my God, the Empire is back. And I thought it was cool that it was... It wasn't the Mandalorian, it wasn't Ahsoka, it wasn't Cara Dune, it was Boba Fett, a character who's dealt with the Empire before.
Yeah.
A character who knows what that means. A character who knows what the Empire coming back means for the poor people, essentially, of the galaxy. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was a neat little bit of trivia, essentially. I thought that was really neat.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of cool stuff.
And then Baby Yoda gets absolutely yoinked.
And put in the cutest handcuffs ever.
Handcuffs that it looks like he could just sort of slurp out of, but, I'm not going to...
That was definitely a thrilling episode, and it's interesting because it all took place in the same exact location.
Yes, that too. People forget that episode 6 was essentially a bottle episode, and we didn't leave not only this planet, but like this one like hill.
Yeah.
And just so much happened, so much like backstory on these two characters and the Grogu stuff and then the Dark Trooper stuff. And
They took the Millennium Falcon joke one step too far. They brought it to its logical conclusion, which was just destroy the ship that they've been doing with the Razor Crest.
Yeah. Can I take this as an opportunity to say something that I've always said, that the Slave One is a dumbass ship and it looks stupid and I hate looking at it?
Really?
Why the fuck does it take off and then go perpendicular to the ground?
I don't know.
When it's sitting flat, it looks like it should just take off, like whoop, but it like and then it like fucking sidewinds through the galaxy. I hate it. It's stupid. And every time it comes on screen, my mom and I were like, fuck this ship. It's so dumb looking. It looks like an elephant. Also, I just hate everything
Okay.
about it. But I do think it was cool that the second that Mandalorian, it sucks, right? Because he was like it sucked, the ship, and then he got it fixed. Well, no, he sort of got it fixed, and then it like really took some damage, and then he got it completely fixed somehow. And I've been saying this whole time, just buy a new ship. This character is like so quick to like, I need you to do a thing, and they're like, not interested, and he's like, here's 50 schmeckles, and they're like, you son of a bitch, I'm in, and then
That
they
was
do
two
the
Rick
thing.
and Morty references in the same sentence.
I honestly didn't mean either of them. If I'm being 100. And I was like, just buy a new ship, and then his ship exploded, and most of me was like, oh man, but part of me was like, I don't know, time to buy a new ship. Someone should have listened to Anthony. But it was cool that the ship exploded, and then like we basically were all just like, oh no, we got Boba Fett's ship though. We could just travel in that, and then they did.
Yeah. It's like they name dropped that the Slave One's still around, and then they were like, you know what would be cooler than the Razor Crest? Maybe and then it blows up, and then in the background you're like, oh, there's
the
Slave
dust.
One.
The dust. It's like a Pokemon evolution. The ship blows up, the dust settles, and there's just the Slave Ones right in the background. Like, well, there's other, and it would only have been made better if that one exploded too. It was like, I did think it was cool how when the ship exploded, the only thing left over was that spear, because it's made out of the metal.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah.
I thought that was so cool. I was like, obvious, duh, yes, that's so cool.
Well, also Boba Fett's armor. I'm pretty sure the ship blows up before he gets his armor back.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't?
He scopes it out, sneaks on, comes off, and then
Okay.
the ship blowing up is like the last straw, because the ship blows up and then the Dark Troopers come, and then he
Okay.
flies up and sees the Empire, and he's like, I'm yeeting out of here. I can't do this. Baby Yoda's fucked. The Empire's back. The next episode was the Bill Burr episode. It was called
Yes.
The Believer. That's that guy's name, right? Bill Burr?
Yep.
Yeah. There's a lot of comedians who have similarly, I get Bill Burr and Bo Burnham mixed up.
Oh, okay. I
is
thought you
what
just
I'm
meant
saying.
double, like BB.
Oh, alliteration.
RR.
No, I literally mean BB. I think there's another one too, but those are the two. Anyways, a lot of people said that this one was their favorite one. And it was
It
good.
was action packed.
It was really good, and it had, it had the whole take the mask off thing, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Um,
So okay, there was
Yes.
it was a very touching moment, but like I have a meme right here, and it's true. It's him getting his face scanned
yeah,
from that
thing he was
thing.
in. Yeah.
yeah, and then it has a picture of the screen that says, "Yep, you have a face. That's all we were checking for. Please enjoy access to all this sensitive data." And it's like, why did they scan his face?
Yeah, I didn't. It definitely felt like that was only there for him to have to take his helmet off.
Right. There's one thin lining of here's what it had to do, which was when they were all talking about who's going to go with Bill Burr to do this thing.
Yeah.
He was the only one who could do it because they were all wanted by.
Yeah.
So maybe it's like it's just checking for anybody in its database
I don't know.
that
It
they
was.
know isn't supposed to be
Oh,
there.
I see what you're saying. That makes sense. No, I did think it was like they're planning this thing and they're like, how are we going to do this? All right, you guys are going to be here and we're going to be in here and you're going to do this. And then we get to the thing and then we're standing in front of the thing, and then Bill Burr's like, "Ah, shucks, it needs to scan a human face," and it's like, well, you didn't know that. You couldn't have told Mister doesn't want to show us. You do this on purpose, Bill Burr.
He's just in the background, like, show me your face. Take it off.
No, he was actually pretty cool. I feel like that
Yeah.
character was like, when everything was said and done in that scene, that was his opportunity to make a joke about it, but he totally didn't,
Yeah.
which I thought was cool.
Well, he kind of did by giving him that silly nickname, Brown Eyes.
Oh, yeah.
But it was subtle.
No, it was... I just mean, like, when he was like, all right, come on, get over it. I never saw your face. Let's leave. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I'm just now noticing that the last episode, the one where Baby Yoda gets taken, was directed by Robert Rodriguez. I did not know that.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Love that dude.
Yeah, that was a good. It was a good, solid episode.
Yeah.
Um.
I will say it
Mhm.
was good that episode 6 and episode 8 were split up with this one, because this one was good, but it was definitely like not as heavy with awesome stuff to look at as episode 6 and episode 8 were. So it was
Yeah.
cool that we had this like still pretty good but not as like intensive episode in between, because episode 6 and episode 8 were like absolutely marvels to look at and
Yeah.
incredible episodes of television. Which this one wasn't not incredible. It was just clearly like positioned at a point in the season intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that is the first and only episode with absolutely no Grogu.
Yeah, I think that's true. I was saying that when it
He finds
happened.
that's the twist in episode 1, right? He finds Grogu at the end of episode 1 of
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
series. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this must be the first one without him in it entirely.
I think you're right.
Has there been Mandalorian's been in every single episode, right?
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure he's been in all of them.
I don't think there's been really an opportunity for, if next season happens and like, bad example because I think she might be getting her own show maybe, but if Ahsoka had her own episode and he just wasn't in it, I feel like season 3 is where to do it.
Yeah.
Season 3 is where to have like a side character episode.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're done with the get the baby to Luke Skywalker mission. But the show is called Mandalorian, so I don't know. I don't know how much the title is like a creed of who can be in the episode. What I'm saying, I guess, is I would be. I was just about to say I would be cool with a Boba Fett episode, but like he's getting his own show, so no reason for that. I don't know. There's a couple characters that if they were like
Bo-Katan.
this is like Bo-Katan or Cara Dune, if they were like this is an episode about them and Mandalorian's not in it at all, I'd be like, okay.
Well, especially with Bo-Katan, if she was in it, she's a Mandalorian.
Yes. Oh yeah. Actually,
I
that's
mean,
a good point.
It would fit perfectly if they were like, now we're gonna see how the Queen of Mandalore comes back.
Yeah. Let's talk about the last episode.
Sure.
Because you bring up an interesting point. It's a point that Moff Gideon brings up. Mandalore is like a pile of ash right now.
It sounds like, so when I think of Mandalore, and I'm sure I've seen images of it, it seems like there's a giant chunk missing of it. Like they shot the Death Star with it, but it didn't blow up the whole planet.
Yeah.
And they've been
Which seems like, get a better Death Star, man. What are you doing?
Well, I don't, so this is just speculation. This isn't Star Wars knowledge or anything. I think the Beskar probably saved part of the planet.
True, yeah. Because it's up in there, right? Like they mine it from that planet. Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure they go back to Mandalore in Rebels after it's already been destroyed, and it's just like there's chunks of it missing.
Can you imagine if the second Death Star was made out of Beskar? There'd be no episode 7, 8, and 9.
No, that would be it. Beskar's got to be like vibranium, right? Like there's only so much of it.
I would love to see like a Wolverine versus Mandalorian death battle. Fucking dude went toe to toe with a lightsaber.
Yeah.
With Beskar metal.
Yeah.
It's crazy. He got hit in the head with a lightsaber, and he's fine because of his fucking helmet. It's so cool. So was his last outfit just straight up not Beskar? And she made
I think it was mix.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, you know how you can mix metals?
Yeah.
I don't think it was pure. I think it was...
Because that's the point of the first 3 episodes. It's like, I need pure Beskar.
Yeah.
And then he fucking, like, does the whole scene where he's, like, walking out with his new armor, and, like, everyone's like, whoa.
Yeah, it's... God, you're blowing my mind with Beskar Death Star. That's it. That's game, set, match. You lose.
Yeah.
Oh, they did it twice.
They did what?
They made 2 Death Stars. Make
Yeah.
the second one small and make it out of Beskar.
Yeah. Like just small enough to have that one cannon in it or whatever. But no, the last episode was incredible. And I liked it a lot.
Yeah,
and
we
there's
haven't
a
even
lot
talked
to,
about the episode, really.
Well, there's the one part that I didn't like, which I feel like I wasn't supposed to like, which was the whole, like, he has the lightsaber, and he's trying to give it to her, and she won't take it.
Oh, yeah.
It was just so weird because this character was the character that introduced the concept.
This is what I said to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the character that introduced the concept of, like, nah, fuck it, take your mask off, who cares? But then he's got the sword, and he's like, I yield, you win, and she still won't take it.
Yeah.
And it's like, why?
No, she was like, oh, you're one of the crazy ones. And then jump to this episode, and he's like, here, I don't want this. And she's like, no, I can't do
There's
that.
a part in this episode where she just, like, she was talking for, like 3 uninterrupted minutes about, like, the Darksaber is mine by birthright, and I should win Mandalorian, blah, 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 and this and that. And she just kept talking and talking, and after she was done, I was just like, don't know what's crazy about everything she just said, Mom? It's all true. It didn't sound it, but that was all, she's right.
It's kind of like the Daenerys Targaryen speech, but it's like...
Oh, my God, the, like, my name is Daenerys Stormborn, first of my name, bringer of milk, mother of dragons. I parted the Red Sea from the Bible.
Yeah.
All that shit. Yeah.
And she's like, and I demand to be queen of this place because it's my birthright. But
and then everyone, well, I feel like with her situation, she gets through all that. She's like, and I demand to be queen. And then eventually people are like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, but then there's some people are like, but it belongs to Jon Snow. It belongs to this person. But with Bo-Katan, it's like, no, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, no. With
like,
Game
there's
of
questions with her, but with Bo-Katan, it's
right. With Game of Thrones, there's a little, like, in and out of universe. If someone was like, well, hang on, I feel like... But Bo-Katan was just rattling on and on about, like, she sounded like a crazy person, but everything she was saying was completely right. I was like, this is incredible. This is incredible dialogue. Okay, so Dark Trooper fight, yes, cool.
Let's talk about that Terminator scene with the Mandalorian and that one Dark Trooper. Just to, like, show, you know, I liked that scene because it was very scary. It was very, like, but it also told you what these things are capable of.
Right.
And it also makes the last scene.
Oh my God, I know.
Even more.
It
brings it home even more.
I know, because the last scene, it's so okay. I feel like this scenario that they set up with Luke Skywalker coming to get the Grogu could have gone one of 2 ways, and it went one way, and if it went a different way, I think it would have failed, because the way I feel like if I was writing that scene, this is what I would have done. I would have shown the X-Wing. I would have, and this is as I described how I would do it, the wrong way of doing it, but I feel like I would show the X-Wing, and then you would just, like, hear
what's going on
outside,
yeah.
and then the door opens, and you're like, oh my God, all that stuff is dead, and Luke Skywalker is here. But you can't do that. You can't just be like, well, it was Luke Skywalker, because sure it is, but, like, Luke Skywalker's not the perfect Jedi.
Right.
He's cool, sure, but, like, he definitely has his,
We've learned they can fall.
Yeah, exactly. And it was really cool that scene was like an extended, like 3.5, 4 minute scene of Luke Skywalker just single-handedly, one at a time, destroying what I think is every single Dark Trooper that exists. And then he shows up, and you're like, wow, he did that. He actually did that, which is so cool because Mandalorian, who is like probably besides Luke Skywalker, like the most skilled, versatile fighter on this show, as he's shown us many, many times, barely dealt with one himself, as pointed out by Moff Gideon. So I don't know. It was with like you said. Sorry, I went on a big tangent off what you said.
I also want to go on a tangent about this scene.
No, it's really it's a really good episode actually because it almost perfectly like that scene for the Luke Skywalker scene to be as cool as it was. It had to do what I described, where you actually show it and you don't do it the way the dumb idiot me would have done it. But you also need that first scene of Mandalorian just totally beefing it and almost not destroying.
That's why I was saying that scene is so important because it sets up what happens later on. Now that we're talking about it, I just want to talk about that scene.
Yeah, go for it.
So I watched this episode with Pauline first, and we see the X-Wing approaching. And she just said, "Oh, it's the pilot that helped hit them earlier in that episode with the spiders."
Which,
is who I think.
In her defense, if it wasn't Luke Skywalker, and if it wasn't for Baby Yoda, like doing that thing he did where he's like was calling someone, that would be my guess as well. That is like definitely like number 2 possibility of who's coming.
Well,
because Ahsoka's not going to come on an X-Wing.
No. I want to admit I called it like within like 6 frames of that X-Wing being on the screen.
Yeah.
I was also, as Pauline said, my voice was not the most confident it's ever been.
See, it's not that I didn't know it was going to be Luke. I just didn't expect it to be based on like all the weird like who's going to play him stuff I've been hearing.
Well, I think the guys over at Mandalorian Disney Plus TV show.
Yeah.
They're not trying to be the next George Lucas. They're trying to make a good Star Wars show.
Right.
And they're like, it could be this. Wouldn't it be creative if it was this person? And they were like, wouldn't it just make the most sense if it was this person?
Oh, yeah, no, for sure.
And that's what we got.
Plus, like...
It wasn't a surprise. I mean, it was, but it wasn't jaw-dropping, it's that person, but it was who you expected it to be.
That episode would have flunked if it was the dude from Jedi Fallen Order or some shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like, for that episode to work, it had to be a highly recognizable, highly scripted character.
Yeah, but like everybody was talking about, oh, they're going to bring Mace Windu back. And I was like, why? Why muddy the waters? Not that, like, if you want to bring Mace back, sure, but don't have it be a cliffhanger.
That's the
Figure
thing.
out what you've done wrong with Star Wars, and it's muddying the waters left and right. Just make it somebody you can expect. It's not a big deal.
If you bring Mace Windu back and then the episode ends the way the episode ends, then that would have pissed me off.
Oh, yeah,
I'm like,
me
wait,
too.
why is somebody explain why he's alive?
It would have been...
But because it was Luke Skywalker, I was just like, oh, I know exactly where he just came from. I know where he's going to go after this.
Yeah.
I will say the episode sort of ended in the middle of a thing. Like, I feel like we were in the middle of a mission, and I get that the whole mission of the season was get Grogu to Luke Skywalker, and we did that. But I feel like Moff Gideon is still alive for some fucking reason, and the whole argument with the lightsaber is still happening, and barring the after the credits scene, Boba Fett just sort of like zipped off into space, and that was the last we saw of him. I will say it was cool that Boba Fett was like the distraction, and then he was like doing his best not to get hit, and then all of a sudden he didn't need to like suck anymore, and he immediately took out 2 TIE fighters and immediately went to hyperspace. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
It was just like, wow, the second he needed to be good.
One thing about Luke showing up, that to me was a giveaway, was there being a single X-Wing, because they fly in squads.
Right.
Except
yeah.
him. He's like
Yeah.
the one guy who
No, I knew
doesn't.
it had to. I explained this to you already, but I was sitting there. I was like, it's not going to be Luke. It's going to be someone who's by themselves because it's one X-wing. But like, I was like, it's not going to be Luke. And then I saw the lightsaber. I was like, okay, it's green. And then I was like, who is a green lightsaber? I was like, fucking only Luke does. And then I saw his hand. I was like, okay, that's a white hand, so it's not Mace Windu like some people thought. And then I saw the gloved hand, and I was like, hey, it's Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
And I wasn't disappointed. I was just like, who is going to play this fool? And we all, and I'm happy it happened this way, but we all collectively forgot that Star Wars is like company numero uno when it comes to making CGI people.
Yeah, well, that's one thing I want to talk about was I understand that they can make CGI people now, but his voice is still something that's blowing my mind. I don't understand how they got
It was really him.
25-year-old Mark Hamill's voice.
I don't get it either.
When
it was,
Mark Hamill doesn't even sound like that anymore.
But it was definitely him. He was in the credits and like
yeah, there's nobody else who sounds like that.
Because my mom, I was watching the credits and I was like, and Mark Hamill, and I was like, that didn't sound like him. That sounded like young him. And my mom was like, oh well, maybe they had to credit him to use his face. And I was like, not in the cast list. They don't.
Yeah.
You know, It was.
Is he the only person in the universe that can voice act himself 20 years ago?
Dude,
30
yeah, that
years
was
ago, 40 years ago?
Because that's the thing. Like, Mark Hamill's a very, what's the word? He's a great voice actor. I can't remember the word I was trying to use, but he's a very prolific voice actor. He's done many voices. He's, of course, probably best known as a voice actor for voicing the Joker for like 19 and a half years or whatever the fuck.
Mm-hmm.
The Joker from Batman. But he's an exceptional voice actor. If he was like, fuck no, I can't do young version voice of me, like, because he's not just voice acting. His voice is different. He's a different dude now. He's an old dude. He was a young dude, and now he's an old dude, and that's not how vocal cords work. It's just so if that wasn't modulated at all, if that was just Mark Hamill using his like childhood voice, that is the most impressive voice acting I think I've ever seen. That is incredible.
I definitely want more information on how that was done. What else? Oh, the fight between the Dark Trooper and the Mandalorian. What stuck out to me that I thought was cool was just the brute force of the Beskar. How that Dark Trooper was just knocking him into the wall. But one thing that I noticed that I was kind of expecting to happen and it didn't. That thing was punching him just square in the face of the helmet. I was expecting the glass to crack. I don't understand what the glass is made out of that it could withstand all that.
Yeah. That would have been cool. But you can't have the scene with Grogu if the glass is broken.
Which was awesome.
It
was really well done.
You know me. I don't normally cry on the first viewing. I'm weird like that. I'm like this is my third time viewing and I know it's gonna happen. Here come the waterworks type of person. But I started tearing up immediately when he took the helmet off, because it just made sense. But you wouldn't expect it. And it wasn't clear what Grogu wanted because Grogu doesn't talk, and he always does that. He's always like, "Here's my hand, I'm a baby." It was just very moving, very touching moment, and I hope that's not the last we see of him. I think that would obviously, he's not going to be a major player anymore, but I feel like that would.
I don't know. I think I don't. The show can definitely go on without him.
Right.
I would really like it if he maintained a relatively permanent role on the show. It doesn't have to be in every episode, but
well, see, you and I were talking about this. If Mandalorian, if the Mandalorian the character is to come in contact with Grogu again, he's also going to have to come in contact with Luke Skywalker. And what is the CGI head replacement budget on the Mandalorian? Because it seems pretty high, but I don't think it's multiple episodes a season high. You know,
right. Here's the thing, though, that everybody's talking about and is very concerned about is if he doesn't get Grogu back, that's a death sentence that's a second death sentence for Grogu. Because Kylo Ren is just
because Kylo Ren is going to then explain that. Who saved him on Coruscant, and who's gonna save him at the new Jedi Temple or whatever it's called?
And it was either you or somebody else brought up a point. They were like, well, what if he becomes one of the Knights of Ren? And I was like, oh, then he'll just die 2 years later, also at the hands of Kylo Ren.
That was not me, but you and I have talked about that before. If he's a Knight of Ren, either way, this guy's getting murked by Kylo Ren.
Yeah. I definitely don't want that to be the end of his storyline. Because that'll be a grim end of his storyline if that's the last we see of him.
I feel like what's probably going to happen is they're probably going to do a thing where Mandalorian is ending. It's on its 5th, 8th, 12th, 13th season, whatever, and it's coming to a close, and it just so happens that Grogu's, training is done now, and he gets to be back with the Mandalorian, and it's essentially like it is implied that weeks after this Kylo Ren went crazy.
Yeah.
But he got him before it, and he was progressing further because he's a Yoda person or something like that. You know what I mean? I feel like they're going to do something like that where it's and they lived happily ever after, and the reason they're not in Force Awakens is because shut up. I would be okay with that.
I mean, they did that with Ahsoka.
Yeah. Yeah.
They created a character after the fact, and we're like, she's not in this because screw you.
Yeah. Well, to an extent, they eventually did explain what happened to her during movie 3, right? In season new one?
Yeah, well, they explained what she was. They explained why she wasn't in the original trilogy during the.
I'm just talking about 3. Clone Wars takes place in between 2 and 3. And she's not in 3.
Right. Well, yeah, they explained that. They explained that with the actual last season of Clone Wars. They don't go into detail about it like 7 does, but I mean season 7 of Clone Wars.
Yeah.
But no, they tidy up her story in the original one. I wouldn't have questions about what happened to Ahsoka until like if Rebels didn't happen, I'd have questions.
Yeah. So we're wrapping up. We've gone over an hour at this point, probably exactly an hour with the bit about my cat that I cut out. But I have a question. It's been haunting me and my mother, and I have to ask you, what the fuck is her head? What is it? What is it made out of? It's a body part, right?
Yeah.
It's not a headdress.
No, it's flesh. That's part of her.
It's flesh, or is it bone?
No, it's flesh that's colored white because they jiggle.
Yeah, that's kind of where we were at. It looks like bone, but it was blowing in the wind.
Yeah.
So she is not a Twi'lek. But she's got
not sure about that. I think they just look differently. I think she is, but they just look different.
Okay. Well, because there's other.
I could be wrong.
Ahsoka people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Definitely.
So that is flesh. That is a fleshy protrusion.
If you were asking me my opinion, that's flesh. I don't know what else it could be. I've seen it animated. I've seen it live action, and it if you touched it, you could pick it up and drop it. And, it's flesh. That's what it is in my mind. If it's bone, it's the most flexible bone I've ever seen.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of where my mom and I were at. We were like, if that's bone, that's a shitty prop. Or they should not let it blow like that in the wind or whatever.
No, it's intentionally flexible.
Yeah, yeah.
At this point, there's no way around that. They've made it flexible.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right. Well.
What a question to end this episode off with.
It's all I've been thinking about when talking about Ahsoka. By the way, we didn't even talk about this. Rosario Dawson did fine.
Oh yeah,
as Ahsoka.
No, she did excellent.
I was worried only because I personally am not the biggest fan of Rosario Dawson. I just never have been. I think she's just an okay actress. But it seems like she did her research, which is cool.
Yeah.
It's if an actress or actor is this just happened with me with Oscar Isaac and Solid Snake. If an actor or actress is cast as a thing, and for even a moment I'm like, I don't know, but then I learn that they're like doing their research and they're like a huge fan of the thing, or like they found out they were playing the Flash, so they read every Flash comic book. I can't help but have respect for that, and it seems like that's what she did, because she did a really good job, and I've always liked Ahsoka, and I still do. But that'll do it for us. I think it's safe to say that we really liked Mandalorian Season 2, and we hope you did as well. And the next episode, we're going to talk about Friday the 13th. And until next time, I've been Thunder.
I'm Lightning.
Stay safe, stay clean, and we'll see you next time.